Good morning, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world watching this. If you want to knit this easy Fair Isle hat, it's an easy knit. You can do it. If you know knit and purl, most of us do, and you have two strands of worsted weight wool, two different colors, then you can knit this hat. This one is for a young adult or child, and it's easy. Follow along. A few people have offered me the compliment of being an advanced knitter, but I'm really not. I'm very basic. Knit, purl, increase, decrease, learn how to do the gathering of the top of a hat so that you can bring in and shape the crown. I'm just a basic knitter. These things that look nice and look like a lot of work are actually easier than you realize. This hat has already been blocked, so it's all nice and smooth. But before you get to that blocking stage, it can seem rather bumpy. I use the Cascade Yarns Heritage, and I use two strands of that, which is equal to a DK weight. And then I use the Estelle worsted, which is a really nice wool to work with. I cast on 90 stitches. I did a knit one, purl one ribbing. You could do knit two, purl two ribbing if you like. Depends on what you would like to do, and you do that for about 2 inches. If you've watched my previous video, you'll remember that I have said the basics of a hat is 2-6-2, 2 inches for your ribbing, 6 inches for your body, and then the shaping of the crown ends up being about 1.5, 2 inches. Here's a clip of a previous video that did well, and you would do well to watch it because it's got that 2-6-2 illustration. To make my Fair Isle hat, I borrowed the pattern from a mitten pattern that I got from a lady in Newfoundland. And it was the diamond effect that I was looking for. And then, of course, the chart. As I said, I consider myself a basic knitter, so I had to teach myself how to read a chart. So when you're knitting flat, you are going to read a chart from left, no, from right to left, and then you're going to go back from the left to the right. But if you're knitting in the round, you want to read a chart from right to left and then go back right to left. Every chart has a repeat of the pattern. So if you count the blocks in this pattern, there are 14 blocks. So that means every 14 stitches, you're going to go back to the right hand side and repeat the pattern. So what I do is I put little stitch markers there so I know every 14 stitches. So that at the end of my marker, then I realize, okay, now I go back to the right hand side of the chart and I start it again. I created a video on this, two hands, a strand of knitting wool in each hand and how you alternate it. It was a video short, two hands, two-strand knitting, and I'll illustrate it again here. So the merino wool is on my left hand, the green worsted weight wool is on my right, and I just alternate. Another way to do this is just to keep two strands in the right hand, and you just keep lifting it up with your hand and moving it around. If you can manage the alternating style, it does go a little bit quicker. And then you end up with a nice Fair Isle hat. When you're knitting, you have to carry the yarn that you're not using in the back of your work. So here's the hat inside out. So you want to try not to carry more than 3 stitches over. In my next video, I'll show you a really neat tip on how to carry those floats on the back of your work. It's a technique to anchor your floats. That little bit of yarn that gets carried across in the back. So you anchor your floats when you have more than 3 stitches. So these are where I've knit a stitch and I'm knitting 1, 2, and 3 across. And I have to carry my yarn in the back because I'm actually, the other side of this, I'm knitting in the green. And so you're carrying it across. So there's a way to anchor that when it's, let's say, 5 or 6 stitches across in your pattern. And I do have some of that where, I think I have some of that in where these stitches, well, that's a 3 and a 1 and a 3. So it works out pretty well. I like it when it's a 3 stitches pattern and a repeat. But sometimes there's another hat I'm working on, and it's actually 5 stitches across before you have to get your yarn. So too many words just to say, look, if it's more than 3 stitches, you have to anchor your yarn in the back. I'm going to show you how to do that. So stay tuned. Hold on till next week. See you later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe. You know you want to.